I'm Sue Rudolph, and I'm from Huntington Beach, California. I'm really active. I love to run, cycle, hike. I do like online classes. I also love to travel. I love animals. Um, I'm a liver transplant recipient. I had a liver transplant in 2016. I was first diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver in 2003, and then I was put on the transplant list in 2006. And from 2006 until I received my transplant, well, up till 2014, I was basically stable. They treated me with medications, and I was pretty low down on the transplant list. So I wasn't, I was waiting for it. But then in 2014, I was diagnosed with liver cancer. And after that, I got bumped up on the list when I had a tumor on my liver, and they treated that with chemo. And then they came back again in May of 2016, and they treated it with radiation. But then in July of 2016, I was called in for a transplant. I was in San Diego. My transplant was in San Diego, so it's like 2 hours from where I live. And I had to stay down there. I was released from the hospital for about a week, but then I had complications, and I went back in the hospital again, and then I was released, and then I went back in the hospital, and then even after I came home, I had to go back in. A total of I had spent like about 30 days total in the hospital. And one time I had rejection, and then I had an infection and other sorts of things, and I was retaining fluids. So it was rough. I had to stay down in San Diego close to the hospital for a month after the transplant. My hospital's 2 hours away. It was difficult. I really didn't, that was a big problem. I didn't have the support that I really needed at the time. So I was down there the whole time by myself, which was really hard. It's been amazing. From since the transplant, I feel great. I'm really active, and I run all the time. I cycle, I work out, I feel good. So I was doing okay for most of the time before the transplant until I got liver cancer. Then I still was doing okay, but I still had some problems. But my life's been great. I had gotten a call like a couple of days before. They called me, and they said I was like third or fourth down on the list, and they said, but you need to be ready, and we'll let you know. Well, then they called me after I fasting for like a whole day. They called me and they said, well, the liver wasn't any good, so nobody got it. Then I had a second call right after that. I had to continue fasting because I had another liver, and that turned out to be a no good. So then the following day, I get a call, and they said, we have a liver, and it was turned down by the other hospitals. And so, but they didn't think it was going to work for me because the person that had the liver was bigger than me and weighed more than me. But they wanted me to come down to the hospital anyway. So that's when I called my brother. I said, they have a liver, but it doesn't look like nothing's going to happen. So I'll just drive down there. And they said, have your phone with us because we might call you, tell you to go back home. And so I wasn't thinking anything was going to happen. And I got down there, and they got me all ready, which was like really stressful. And the doctor came, measured me and measured the liver, and he came back and he says, it was a go. I got down there about noon, and it was like, I think around 2:30, he came back and said everything was good. And then I went into surgery about 3 o'clock. So, yeah. I take medication. I'll have to take for the rest of my life, anti-rejection medication. You know, right afterwards, it was like I had so many pills, it was crazy. Now it's like a lot less, but I do have to take medication and I have to have lab work done every 3 months right now to, you know, check my blood and everything. Yeah. Well, I joined them originally for the Salt Lake City. I had found out about the World Games by accident. No one ever told me about any games when I was on the transplant list. And then I'm a travel agent, and I found out was events going on in Australia when they had the games in Gold Coast. So I got all excited and I contacted them, and then when when I was in the hospital, I researched to find out where the games were, and I found out they were in Malaga, Spain. And I told my doctors when I was in the hospital that I was going to Malaga, Spain to do the transplant games. And I did. I went in 2017. I wasn't even a year past my transplant. So they made an exception and let me in. And that was just so amazing to be with people that had gone through what I've been through. And it was there that I found out that they actually have games in the US as well. And so when I came back, I found out that the games were going to be in Salt Lake City. So I signed up, and I didn't know there was any teams. And then you had to choose a team. So I saw the team SoCal. So I put that down, and someone from the team contacted me. And so I became a part of it. So, yeah. And so I'm plan to do the games every year. I went to the World Games in Newcastle, and then Great Britain, and then Salt Lake City, then Newcastle, and then this was virtual, so I did the games this year with them. And now I'm like on the board with Team SoCal. So I had my transplant in July, and I started walking as soon as I was out of the hospital, and I'd start with 5 minutes and keep going, and gradually add on to just walking. And then I think it was around October, I started running and walking. It was really slow, but I just kept building up from there. And I think around November, I started cycling. So it was around several months I started working out some more. And then in January, I went to Antarctica. I was invited to run a half marathon, there. I organized races in different places, and the race director invited me and paid my way. So I went there, and I was planning on just doing the 10K, but then I met somebody there who was going to walk the half marathon. So she said, "Do you want to walk with me?" So I walked the whole thing. I wasn't really in a position to run it, but I did the 5K, all the track events, both the cycling events, the swimming, all the swimming events except the 500 meters. I did everything shorter than that. And poker. I didn't do very well in poker. I lost my money right away. It was meeting with my transplant team. With the COVID, we haven't met in over a year. So we got together on 2 different occasions, one to sign the flag, and then we got together to do the 5K as a group. So that was my favorite event part. I got to see everybody, and after not seeing anybody for so long. Yeah. Yes, I'm very excited because that's where I had my transplant. So my doctors are going to come watch me, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah. In 2023, the World Games are in Perth, Australia. So I'll definitely go there. And Australia is my specialty, so I love Australia. So I'm really excited to go there. Yeah. I would tell them that there's over like 100,000 people waiting for a transplant right now, and a lot of them will die waiting. There's really a shortage of organ donors, and by donating your organs, you can save multiple people's lives. And I would really encourage them to do it.